Nothing kills more dreams than pessimism. I heard a quote once that said, some people can find a problem for every solution. And those are the kinds of people that don't really achieve much. Because every time there's like an idea or an action or a motivation or something kind of moving them in the right direction, something that could get them moving in the right direction, they find a reason not to do it. They find a reason not to be motivated. They find a reason not to get going. They find a reason to hold themselves back. And I think that's crazy. But it's so common. It's so common. So we have to understand what pessimism is, because it's more than just like the glass is half empty. I mean, that's part of it. That kind of negativity is part of it, but it's more about, it's more dangerous than that. It leads to people being held back from pursuing their biggest dreams and their biggest goals. And look, life is supposed to be lived. Like, we're not just here just to wake up, go to work, and pay your bills. Like, we're not just here for that. We're here to do much more and to be much more. And a pessimistic mindset is getting in so many people's way. So that's why I think today's episode of the Aha Moments podcast is so important. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. So let's break down what pessimism is. Optimism is the ability to look at your future with hope and confidence that things will work out in your favor. And pessimism is the exact opposite. It's looking in your future with the belief that nothing is going to work out, with confidence that nothing is going to work out. And by the way, like, certain people have had difficult and negative things happen in their lives, so they have a tendency to view the world in that way. Like, nothing has ever worked out, so nothing will ever work out. Nothing has ever worked out, so I anticipate always having a problem and always experiencing a difficulty. Like, people believe that. People think that. People live like that. But the truth is, you gotta hold on to belief that things could work out in your favor regardless of your previous experiences. You know, before I had any reasonable level of success, I struggled. I struggled a lot. When I was in high school, I wasn't the world's greatest student. When I was in college, I wasn't the world's greatest student. I was dealing with a lot of psychological issues in both those times, high school and college. I was also struggling financially. Like, I remember being in college in the early years of my college, not being able to afford the books. So, like, here's an example of why that was so impactful. I'd be taking a class and the professor would be using the newest edition of whatever book, and I would have an older edition. So the book might be in like the 4th edition, but I'd be studying off the book in the library that was like the 2nd edition. So it was hard for me. Somehow, to this day, I'm not really 100% sure how, but somehow I got myself into graduate school. And I remember being told, graduate school is for honor students. If you get a grade lower than a B here in graduate school, you will not stay in graduate school. You'll be removed. And I remember thinking, like, I've never done that before. That's going to be a struggle. I've never been an honor student. High school, college, like, I've never had a grade point average of over a B. How am I going to do this? Now, a pessimistic viewpoint would have been, I can't do it because I hadn't done it before. And an optimistic viewpoint was hopeful and confident. I've never done it before, but that doesn't mean I can't do it now. I'm just going to have to do things I didn't do before in order to make it happen now. And that's exactly what I did. I worked harder. I studied harder. I did everything I had to do to get the books and make sure the materials that I had were up to date. And I did it. I graduated with a master's degree. So it's stuff like that. Like, you have to maintain the rigid and stubborn belief that the future can be positive and different than the past. I just have to work at it, and I just have to focus on it. I just have to believe it. And if I can believe it, I can achieve it. And I know that sounds like the most ridiculous cliche ever, but it's true. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. And some of us have had negative things happen in our past, and those negative things convince us that we can't achieve. But you can. Thanks for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a super huge favor, I would love it if you would share this podcast with at least one person in your life that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And also, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. And also follow me on all of the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can search for my name, Elliott Connie, or at Elliott Speaks. That's my handle across all platforms. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.